trapper.
Welcome into Good Morning Football. Sherry, Kyle, Isaac, Seth freaking Rollins here with you. We hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas day. Friends, family, football. Seth, it was an incredible day yesterday. We can't wait to get to it. But Kyle kind of teed you up there a little too obviously. But we did have some good football overall yesterday, too.
Yeah, let's get to it. We had Detroit, we had the Vikings. Let's get to game number one here, guys. Because the Lions really, really need it, and that gives us something that we call stakes. If you want to see the Lions succeed, they're going to need it, but Andrew Van Ginkel says, I don't want to see the Lions do squat. That is a turnover. Lions only their 9th turnover all season, not the last in this game, though. Aaron Jones, got it. Still a great player. They've missed him a lot this year, but he always has a nose for the end zone and playing well in big stages. Detroit, you got to get this thing going, guys. I know the Vikings uniforms look cool, and there's like the whiteout and everything like that. All right. Jared Goff, throw it to Tesla. He cannot make a catch unless it's an acrobatic diving catch of some sort. Isaac Tesla, touchdown. Next, though, third quarter, Dan Campbell's feeling it. Got to go into enemy territory. Goff goes for Tesla. Nope, intercepted too many times. Byron Murphy Jr. I told you, only diving catches for Tesla. Don't do it. That's Goff's 6th interception this year, 3rd turnover of the game. B-Flow fired up. He was all night. That's a perfect cutaway of Jared Goff. It was that kind of night. But they're only down 3. Now, looking, pick again. What is going on, Jared? This is not your deal. He once had a perfect game last year. No incompletions at all. And this is just traffic. He forces it in there. It wasn't happening. There's just a lot of this for Jared Goff. It was a hard game to watch if you're a Lions fan. It was also a funeral. 4th quarter. They're down 13-7. Oh, gosh. Goff gets absolutely crushed. And, of course, because it was yesterday, he fumbles. But recovered by Jalen Remy. He's going to be hit by Van Ginkel, by Dallas Turner. He just couldn't do anything. Then, here we go. Rosemar. Oh, no, Addison down the sideline. Look at the speed. That's no good for Detroit. Is he going to score? They get him out at the 1, but no, they don't because he's such an incredible athlete. Look at what he does. He gets that pylon, guys. That is a touchdown. Incredible. Guys, the Lions lose 3 in a row. They are now out. There will not be any Detroit Lions in the playoffs. The Vikings were playing for pride. 23-10. Look at that, 10 points on the road. A whole mess of turnovers. And afterwards, this sucks. We have to play sad Dan Campbell. Take it away.
I'm looking at a lot of things because I do not like being home for the playoffs. And I know our guys don't either. So, you know, and there again, whenever you lose, man, it takes a village, man. Everybody's involved, including myself, you know. So I'm always going to look at myself first, you know. I'm always going to wish I would have given Goff more, given those players more. You know, like on a day like today, you come out, you lose, win, doesn't matter, man. If, you know, you feel like you need to improve or can't improve, you want to, so.
And winning is hard in the NFL. Take a look at this board. It is insane. The Lions are the latest team who went from having one of the best records last season to now, you see that right column, eliminated from this year's postseason. That's joining the Chiefs, Vikings, Lions, Commanders. They all are missing the playoffs. So needless to say, the season did not go as Detroit hoped, and we saw glimpses of those really good Lions from last year, but certainly we also saw their stumbles. Isaac, to you, what do you feel like was just not working and what was wrong with the Lions this season?
Yeah, well, Sherry, first off, I think based on Dan Campbell's comments, we have to just give a shout out to Holly Campbell because she's going to have to be dealing with her frustrated husband all offseason. Yep. Every wife gets it. You know, you don't want to be in that situation. But let's talk about the Lions and what went wrong. Other than everything, the biggest issue to me was this interior O-line. I just think about Jared Goff in this season. This is the most sacked season that he's been a part of. He got sacked 36 times this season, and that's just been the name of the game. For a guy like him, who's not Patrick Mahomes, who doesn't make magic happen when he's rolling out of the pocket and on the run, these interior O-linemen preventing push in the middle of the pocket is so big. If you have an edge rusher and you have your tackle struggling, that's very different for a quarterback like him because he can just step up in the pocket. He's 6'5". He can make whatever throw he wants. When you have interior O-linemen pushing down the middle, the only place that he can go is on the edge and get on the run, or it obviously takes a sack. So for me, watching this team this year, it's been this interior O-line, and then obviously you can just look at the stats on how they've ran the ball and all that. That's all the points at the interior O-line. So this has been my biggest issue with this team this year.
You know, that's interesting there, Isaac. I say that because the Lions coming into this game had 8 turnovers all season long. They were the second most prolific offense in the NFL, I think behind only the LA Rams. They just could not seem to win the games when they needed to win the games, right? They lose games to Kansas City, they lose games to Philadelphia. They lost that crazy game to the Steelers. They lost this one. They lost to the Vikings earlier in the year. It just seems like they couldn't get their footing this year. Their identity on offense, the same as it has been. They're throwing the ball down the field. They're running with Montgomery, running with Gibbs, and being very effective in that regard. The defense just couldn't make stops when they needed to make stops, and they had a very difficult schedule, and they just could not win when they needed to win. So, by and large, this was the same Lions team that we saw for the last couple of years under Dan Campbell. Now, you lose a couple of coordinators, Aaron Glenn, my guy Ben Johnson in Chicago. We see how that's going. And the team just struggled to find its identity. And when it was crunch time, when the moments mattered, when the lights were the brightest, the Lions just weren't the team this year. It was a very, I'm with Dan Campbell. It's a sad thing to see, man. It really was.
Didn't have it. Just didn't have it. Not everybody has it every year. They're 5-2. They go into the bye. They look like the Lions. We expect them to be a stalwart in the playoffs. This is the new now. Dan Campbell's Lions are always in the playoffs. You just pencil them in. Not this year. Came back from the bye, never had it. Just did not look like a team week to week. Win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Yeah, and let's talk about it. Their offensive coordinator for last year is now marching, strutting even, I would say, to the playoffs. They did not run the ball as well this year. Montgomery wasn't as big of a factor. There's no shame in losing a guy as brilliant as Ben Johnson and having a little fall off. I'm not saying Dan Campbell can't coach. I'm not saying he won't throw it back to the playoffs. It was tough. Ben Johnson, as we are seeing, knows what the hell he is doing and was a huge part of that Lions experience. Any Lions fan who says they didn't miss Ben Johnson this year is just covering for themselves or worried that they're insulting Dan Campbell. Stop. This thing came to an end, guys. Scoring 10 points against a division rival in a dome against a guy named Max Brosmer. Just some bro named Brosmer. This is not like they ran into the Rams or they ran into Philly or something. Max Brosmer is the only NFL quarterback in the Super Bowl era to play the entire game. I'm reading off my phone. Have fewer than 70 passing yards, get sacked 7 or plus times, and still win. That has never happened before. Brosmer and company were dying for the Lions to do anything, and the Lions did nothing. Really deflating, season-ending loss, really depressing game, but good for the Vikings. And Detroit, you just weren't good enough this year. You remember that from years and years growing up. You'll be better next year, but not this year.
Not this one.
Yeah, dude.
Go ahead,
I was there live. I was there live. I'm telling you, that was the defensive performance of the year. I mean, the Vikings, dude, it was unbelievable. This offense could not get anything going. Brosmer had like a net -7 passing yards with like 5 minutes to go in the game. He doesn't get in positive territory until they start getting it to Jefferson just to get, beat the Randy Moss record. It was unreal. Every time you thought, okay, the Vikings are leaving the Lions an opening here to come back and, take this game back and push their way into the playoffs, it just didn't happen. It was just turnover after turnover, sack after sack. They were getting after Flores was just getting after Goff all day. I mean, it was one of the most incredible things. And they played a team in the Vikings that had nothing to play for, nothing but Christmas Day pride. That's it. They were out. It was unreal. I would say I was shocked to see kind of the output and they were out hustled by Minnesota in this game.
And it was the whiteout game, and it just seemed like things were snowballing for the Lions there, but great insight there. Thank you, Seth. Though the Chiefs, they took on the AFC's current 1-seeded